obviously, if we wait too long, if we are even having a hint of diabetes and we wait too long to treat it, it's harder to cure. So how do you treat a diabetic when he goes to the doctor says, your sugar's too high? That means the first thing you might ever have a hint about diabetes is a doctor saying, your sugar's too high. There's also a test called glycohemoglobin A1C. Glycohemoglobin A1C is very simply, every blood cell in your body attaches to it a little molecule of sugar. So if there are a whole lot of molecules of sugar over a 3-month period, that testing will test the glycohemoglobin. The glycohemoglobin then stays stable over a 3-month period, and we can tell more clearly whether you're a pre-diabetic, a diabetic, or a non-diabetic. And the general rule is we want to keep that glycohemoglobin between 4 and 5.6. The doctor, if he suspects that you might have diabetes, should do a glycohemoglobin A1C. That test tells him for certain whether you're in the diabetic danger range. If you're a pre-diabetic, then of course diet and exercise prevents you from going into the diabetic, generally prevents you from going into the diabetic phase. And of course, as diabetes progresses and there's no control of your sugar, the arteries that supply blood to our tissue are injured or destroyed. We end up having early heart disease, early failure of our memory, and we find that we don't have the energy that we should have. So if we look at how we make the diagnosis, skips to how we prevent as soon as we get a hint that we may have diabetes. How do we delay the onset of the disease that ravishes our body from heart to brain to legs? People with severe diabetes untreated, and our smokers have a high level of amputation of their legs. So quite often they're in a wheelchair by age 60, age 70, when they should be up walking briskly daily. And with prevention, they will walk briskly daily, because by walking briskly daily, eating properly, the energy level stays high, and we have a blood sugar that recedes. In other words, anything in blood sugar, when the doctor talks to you, he says your blood sugar is 100. It's probably okay if you hadn't had anything to eat and your blood sugar is 100. Not something to worry about. If your glycohemoglobin A1C is above 5.6, something to start worrying about. That's when you say, okay, now I'm certainly going to quit smoking. As the first step in diabetes injury prevention is get rid of the cigarettes. Second, get rid of the sugars. Now the sugars, everyone wants a good dessert now and then, and everyone wants a nice ice cream cone. That's good. That's okay. Don't deprive yourself of every bit of tasty food that makes you feel good, because part of life is eating a good dessert from time to time. But if you're into the ice cream in the refrigerator being replaced every 3 or 4 days, you're in trouble. Getting into the sugar addiction with, no matter what the sweet may be, whether it's jelly or ice cream, too much of any of those sugars creates a condition in your system that taxes or stresses your pancreas. Anything that stresses your pancreas is going to lead to diabetes. And of course, as I started out in my first lecture series, the pancreas has to stay healthy, or you as as a human being cannot stay healthy. So if we're taking good care of the pancreas by treating you with the right proper diet and asking that you please don't sit in a chair more than 20 minutes at a time without getting up and walking. If you sit at your job, you're going to be a diabetic. If you sit and don't get up and walk every 20 minutes, you're going to gradually move into the diabetes range. You've got to get up. You can't be sedentary. You can't be a couch potato. You've got to eat plenty of fruit and vegetables. Obviously, that's the key. And the smallest thing on your plate should be the meat. The treatment being, you should have a brisk walk daily, which many of us as doctors don't get. But if we're sitting, we must get up and stand every 20 minutes and walk. These simple precautions will help keep you healthy and help prevent the number one disease that ravishes our body is diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus, because when the pancreas wears out because of too much weight, being obese, too much sugar, being sedentary, it's going to take years off of our life.